tengo muchos que les encanta hablar en público y les va a encantar esto. Y los que son muy tímidos, no tengas miedo. El poder hablar en público es un arte. Te platico mi historia personal. Yo nunca hablaba en público, pero me gustaba. Y me empecé a preparar y poco a poco he ido teniendo esa confianza, pero es a través de práctica y de muchas técnicas. Vamos a ver algunas. Ready? We're going to go with our reader in the unit 5. The name of the reader is Standing Alone. All right? And we have our activity here. Instructions. Read and listen along the text. Okay? Les voy a compartir una técnica maravillosa. Nuestros alumnos no tienen un nivel B1 como se espera en el programa de estudios y es muy complicado para ellos decirles, agarra tu reader y ponte a leer. Lo que yo he encontrado fabuloso es hacerlo como en chunks, en pedacitos, y así como dírselos desmenuzando. Te lo voy a platicar. Read and listen along the text. Number 2, pay attention to the following, the images and the cognates. Las imágenes, chicos, nos van a ayudar para poder comprender mejor. Y los cognates son cognados, son el 33% de todo el vocabulario en inglés. Ya lo tenemos, hay que usarlo. For example, received, ¿qué significa? What is the meaning of received?
Recibió.
Ajá, simple.
Recibir.
Simple, recibir.
Lo mismo, simple.
Simple, simple. Innocent.
Inocente.
Question.
Pregunta.
Pregunta, cuestionamiento. Entonces, cuando un alumno te diga, teacher, yo no sé nada de inglés, es una mentira. El 33% aproximadamente de todo el vocabulario ya te lo sabes. Una persona necesita alrededor de 30,000 palabras para dominar y decir que ya es competente en un idioma. Y si de esas 30,000 palabras tenemos la tercera parte cognados, pues hay que apalancarnos de ahí. All right? Let's continue. Answer easy questions for comprehension. Te voy a leer y luego te voy a preguntar algo y quiero que lo contestes. Vamos a hacer una prueba. How did Jim learn to read? You, come on. Answer, please. Esta de aquí. He learned to read using comic books and images. Una vez más, yo te pregunto y ustedes contestan. How did Jim learn to read?
He learned to read using comic books and images.
Perfect. And the last instruction. This is very, very, very important. Learn and enjoy. Remember that we're talking about public speaking, right? Stand-up comedians use monologues to make jokes and entertain their audiences. In the theater, a monologue is a long speech presented by a single character in the play. But a monologue could also just be a talk or a speech given one person. Can you help me to find the cognates? What are the cognates? Start from the beginning.
Comedians.
Comedians, yes, very good. What else?
Use.
Use, and before use we have, yes, I didn't put that one. Use, monologues. What else? Thank you.
Audience.
Entertain.
Audience, very good.
Audience.
Entertain, I'm not sure, it looks like, but I'm not really sure it's like a cognate because it's not very similar. Entertain, like entretener, but audiences, it's a clear cognate, okay? What else do we have?
Theater.
Theater, okay. Next.
Monologue.
All right, next.
Present.
Presented, very good. Next. I have monologue and person. Here it's like that would be like a false cognate, like character, personaje. All right. So the question, what is a monologue? Who can answer that question, guys? Read and tell me, what is a monologue?
Is a long speech present by a single character in the play.
Perfect, yes. It's a long speech presented by a single character. Okay, yo pregunto y ustedes todos contestan, all right? Where is a monologue, everybody?
It is a long
Speech
speech presented
presented
by a
character.
in the play.
Excellent. Remember, you're going to make your own monologue. That is our product. At the end of the unit 5, we are going to be presenting a monologue. Ve pensando de qué lo quieres hacer. All right, next. Public speaking. Sooner or later, we all have to give a speech or a presentation in front of others. This is referred to as public speaking, and it almost always makes us very nervous. Remember, Mr. B. Help me with the cognates. Quickly, guys, come on. We have
Presentation.
Presentation.
Before that, we have public, right? Presentation. Right. What else?
Front.
Front. What else?
Public.
Referred. What else, guys? We have public. Almost, no, that like casi, no, that wouldn't be, that would be nervous. Yes, nervous. The question, what is public speaking? Who can tell me what public speaking is?
It's a speech or a presentation in front of others.
Perfect, very good. It's a presentation in front of others. Okay, again, I asked the question and you are going to answer. 1, 2, 3. Where is public speaking?
It is a presentation in front of others.
Presentation in front of others.
Perfect, guys. Very, very, very good. Next. Here we have, make it interesting. If possible, choose an interesting topic. If the topic was assigned, try to discover some unusual or little known information about it that will invite the rest of the class to pay attention, okay? No hay nada más importante que hacer algo interesante. So, the cognates, very quickly, you know, can you help me? What are the cognates?
Interesting.
Interesting, perfect, very good. Next, what else do we have?
Possible.
Possible, yes, you're experts. Y esto les voy a dar un tip que les doy a mis alumnos. Cuando tú entras a la prepa, te hacen examen de inglés y son lecturas. Si tú aprendes a enfocarte en los cognados, vas a tener una mayor comprensión. Yo no te puedo decir qué lectura va a venir, pero te puedo enseñar a leer y a decodificar y sobre todo a disfrutarlo, all right? So we have interesting, possible, interesting. What else?
Information.
Information, very good. And assign, asignar, and discover unusual information. We have invite the rest, class, and attention, all right? So, what do you need to choose? Can you help me? You need
An interesting topic.
Perfect, an interesting topic, great. Okay, so I make the question and you all answer. What do you need to choose? Come on.
I need to choose an interesting topic.
Okay, so we also talk about the monologue, about public speaking, and to make it interesting, we're going to see another aspect that is very, very important. Use visual aids, showing charts, photos. Another visual aids makes your presentation more dynamic and keeps your audience from getting bored. Just be careful not to overdo it, all right? Help me with the cognates. Come on, guys, we're going to finish. We have?
Visual.
Excellent. And use, before that we have use. What else?
Photos.
Photos, okay. Visual again. What else?
Presentation.
Excellent. Very good. Dynamic. What else?
Audience.
Audience. And that's it. The question. What makes your presentation more dynamic?
Showing charts, photos, and visual aids.
Excellent. Very good. The same. I ask the question and you all answer. Showing charts, Sorry, what makes your presentation more dynamic?
Showing
Photos,
photos and other visual aids.
Great, guys. Okay. Well, we're going to continue. I want to explain you something about the digital resources that I use in these two activities. I went to the Richmond page that it's online. You can just copy and paste all the information. So you can prepare your materials if you're going to do it like in Zoom. Here you have all the books, you have all the audios, you also have the posters, you have the readers, and you have lots and lots of digital resources that you can use. I combined the resources of the series Yes We Can with a short video of YouTube to make it more interesting. Our students love this activity because it's just like a conversation and you are not tired. At the end, well, I'm going to give you my email here. You can send me an email and I can send you this presentation so you can have it as a plantilla for your classes, like as a template, and you can work on that. I'm very grateful to be here sharing with you. Now we're going to continue with our next activity is Oscar. He is a member of Richmond and he's going to present the next, okay? Continue, Oscar.
Thank you, Christina, for such an inspiring presentation. It was really entertaining. So now we're going to move to another component, which is the reader. Let me share the screen with you. Okay. Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Good. Thank you. So as Christina was saying, I'm Oscar. I'm part of the editorial team at Richmond, and we're going to work with this reader for Unit 3, also from Yes We Can Secondary 2. And the name of this reader is Forces of Nature. So we have here the 4 elements. Let's move on and find out. So question for you guys, what are the 4 elements of nature? Here are the names. So we have earth, air, water, and fire. These are the 4 main elements that we can find in nature. Now, can these elements cause damage?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
How can they cause damage, guys?
Natural disasters.
Natural disasters, exactly. So we're going to be talking about natural disasters, but first we have to make a distinction between a disaster and a hazard. So this is part of the reader. What is a natural disaster? Well, a natural hazard is a dangerous event that happens in nature and is not man-made. That means that we don't make it. It's part of the nature. And this can be an earthquake, a hurricane, or a flood, for example. These events can be dangerous and cause lots of damage. We already said that word before. They can destroy buildings and sometimes entire cities, and they are very, very difficult to predict. A hurricane, for example, is not a natural disaster. It's an event in nature. But when a hurricane destroys homes and buildings, it becomes a natural disaster. So natural hazards become natural disasters when they affect people. And they affect millions of people every year. Since 1994, natural disasters have affected 4 billion people. So we have this distinction between a hazard, which is in nature, and a disaster, which is when it affects humans. We're gonna check some examples of these hazards that might turn into disasters. We have earthquakes. Now, along this reading, you will find some bold-faced words here, like ground, surface, and jigsaw puzzle. So first, let's check the meaning, and then we're gonna move on into the reading, okay? So ground, we have this image here for ground, which is the place where you stand. Then we have surface, which is the top layer, in this case of the earth, and a jigsaw puzzle. I love jigsaw puzzles. Okay, so we have these 3 key concepts to understand what an earthquake is. Can someone please help me reading this part?
I want to participate.
Please do. Thank you, Carlos.
An earthquake is a sudden shaking of the ground. It happens when the hard surface of the earth moves. The surface of the earth is made of big blocks called tectonic plates. Imagine the Earth as a jigsaw puzzle.
Thank you, Carlos.
A
So as
pleasure.
the reading says, saying this is a jigsaw puzzle, so we can imagine like this. Now let's watch these two videos. Which one is an earthquake, A or B, guys?
A.
A, perfect. So we can see here the jigsaw puzzle and the ground moving. Okay, let's move to another phenomenon. It's tsunamis. Can someone else help me reading this, please?
Me.
Okay, please.
When tsunamis. When an earthquake happens under the sea, it can generate huge waves. An enormous wave caused by an earthquake is called a tsunami. Tsunami. And volcanic eruptions and landslides under the sea can also cause tsunamis. In deep water, a tsunami can travel at 800 kilometers an hour. When they get near land, tsunamis slow down. The problem is that the waves get bigger.
Perfect. So thank you very much. We have here an example of what a landslide is. That is when the earth or the ground crumbles down. It moves down. And we also have this key concept, which is big waves. So guys, based on this description and the reading, which is a tsunami? It's A or B?
B.
It's B, perfect. We have the big waves here. We have volcanoes. And this has some very interesting concepts, which is first the crust, which is the top layer. Remember that the earth has many layers. We have the inner core, the outer core, the mantle, and finally here, we have the crust, or in other words, the top layer. And we have another key concept, which is cool down, like it gets cooler, okay? I'm gonna help you read this one. A volcano is a hole in the crust or the top layer of the earth, through which lava and gases escape. Volcanoes from when molten rock, which is magma, escapes from the inside the earth and cools down to form a volcano shape. When a volcano erupts, gas and magma escape from under the earth's surface. When the magma comes out of the volcano, it's called lava. So again, we have key concepts, and thinking about a little bit of what Christina said, we have here gas, which is the same in Spanish. We have magma and we have lava. Based on this description, which one is a volcano eruption? A or B?
Letter B.
B.
Perfect. B. So we can here see the lava and the volcano and the whole eruption, which is very scary and aggressive sometimes. And finally, we have a hurricane or a cyclone. I need a volunteer for this, please.
Okay, I'll read it. Hurricanes and cyclones. A hurricane or cyclone is an enormous storm. Hurricanes form in the Atlantic and North Pacific Oceans, and cyclones form in the South Pacific and Indian Oceans. They form over warm ocean water. Warm air rises and forms storm clouds, and then strong winds transform the storm into a hurricane.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Chris. So we have air, these parts of the air, and it rises and forms clouds that move very fast, and they end up transforming into a hurricane. There's actually a very interesting fact about hurricane, and it is that the center of a storm is called the eye. We have heard that expression before. And the main characteristic of the eye in the hurricane is that the weather is usually calm. So while on the edges or around the hurricane, everything is a chaos or a mess, in the eye, everything is calm and relaxed. So which one is a hurricane, guys? A or B?
B.
B.
B. We have the air, the very strong air moving. Good. Now, we've already talked about natural disasters, some examples, and I'm gonna need you to participate in a very short speaking activity, okay? Concise examples and short answers. We don't need to talk a lot about this. I'm gonna need Grace to help me with this, and choose another of our students to have this conversation with, please.
Okay, well, is there a volunteer who would like to participate? Or I choose?
You choose.
Okay, who
Victims,
is
yeah.
Rosita Carrera?
Me.
Okay.
Impressive.
I received it.
Okay. Should we read the questions?
Yes, please. This is from the How Much Do I Know section, and you have to carry out this discussion.
Okay.
What type of natural disasters are common where you live, Grace and Rosita?
Where I live, earthquakes. There are earthquakes. We are a famous city, maybe because we have some very strong earthquakes.
Yes.
I don't know about you, Rosita.
I live in Tumbaco, but I can see these kind of natural disasters.
Are there other kinds of natural disasters where you live?
No. when rain.
Okay.
Can be the mountains. The mountains fall down. Some parts.
Okay.
Some parts.
Landslides,
Some
like the
parts.
word that we saw here, right?
Yes.
Well, it's too far away. Okay, landslides. Good. Do you know what to do in case of a natural disaster, girl?
Well, I think I know. For example, in case of an earthquake, first we need to protect ourselves. And if the circumstances allow us, we should leave the building where we are. But if we have time to leave the building, if we hear the alarm, we should leave the building as quickly as we can, depending on the floor you are standing.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. And Rosita, do you know what not to do in case of a natural disaster?
Repeat again, please.
Do you know what not to do, the things that we shouldn't do in case of a natural disaster?
I have to throw the trash in the correct place.
Okay, we shouldn't throw trash. Oh, you're referring to after natural disaster. So you were mentioning landslides. So for example, Rosita, I think that maybe you shouldn't go out while the landslide is happening. Thank you, Rosita. And guys, have you ever read or written instructions for a natural disaster? Yes or no?
Yes. There is another
Good.
example in case of not to do when we are facing a natural disaster. For example, it's advisable not to use electricity until we make sure everything is okay.
Exactly. That's a great example. Thank you, Carlos. Grace, Rosita, and Carlos, thank you very much for participating here.
Thank
you.
Now,
let's talk about the survival kit. Can we avoid natural disasters? Sadly, no, we can't. But can we be prepared for natural disasters? Yes, we can. Now, for natural disasters, we have to be ready with some items. I want you to take part into this survey. It's an interactive one. The instruction is choose 2 items you would like to have with you in case of a natural disaster. Let's see which items are the most popular among you. You can do it by 2 ways. The first one would be scanning this QR code from your cell phone. Or if you don't have a QR scanner, you can also go to the web page here and use this code to enter your answers, okay? So go there and vote for the 2 items that you would like to have in case of a natural disaster. I'm gonna share with you the results. Can you see this new screen, guys?
We can see the same in which you are showing the QR code. Now we can see you.
And now you can see this one. Okay, so I'm gonna bring back the QR code in case you didn't copy it and wait for the results. Good. Okay, so we have these results. Most of you are voting for the first aid kit. Then we have a tie between canned food and can opener and bottled water. And none of you have voted for flashlight or for a cell phone. It's moving up. We have canned food and can opener. 40. Good. So all of these elements or items are actually essential. It is recommended for you to have a backpack where you place first aid kit, canned food, and with the can opener, bottled water, some flashlight in case the light goes off, and a cell phone in case you need to communicate. Good, it's moving up. This is a recommendation actually that we were giving after the earthquake in Mexico City to always have a backpack with the essentials and your identity documents for you to walk out or follow the instructions that are recommended. Good, thank you. Thank you for voting. We're gonna keep using this same web page, okay? So remember to scan this code here or go to www.menti.com and use this code to vote. Now, as we were saying, reading and following instructions are essential to survive to a natural disaster. So don't forget, let's see this note that you will find in your student's book, but let's remember what it says. It says that oftentimes we need to give instructions in case of emergency and that there are specific structures we can use to do this. So when you want to make instructions, you have to start with the action, and it always begins with the action in its simple form. For example, go to the nearest shelter in case of a tornado. And the information tends to be short and concise. Stay away from sources of fire in case of an earthquake. And in case you want to say something that you should not do, that it's completely prohibited, you have to include the structure do not before the action. So it says, do not touch any metallic structure during a flood. Carlos was giving us an example of that we shouldn't use any electronic device because of the risks, okay? These are some instructions. Now it's your turn to solve an exercise about instructions. Instructions in case of emergency. You have to complete the sentences with the correct verbs, okay? And you have to go to this website again, menti.com, and use this code in order to participate in this last activity. It's an online interactive activity, so please go to this website or scan the code below here in order for you to solve the sentences. I'm gonna wait for you to go there, and then I'm gonna start the exercise, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so go to the website, please. Okay, let's see. We have some people here already. Good. Remember, if the faster that you read that you answer, the more points that you get. Complete the sentence with the instruction that fits best. Okay, good. Learn evacuation routes. That's the instruction that you have to follow. Always learn them. You will find them in the buildings that you are. The next one. Okay, so we have prepare a disaster kit, which is the one that I was telling you about. Always prepare them. The next, guys, use or do not use electrical appliances.
I don't know if it's me, but it's taking a little too long to load.
To answer to load?
Yes, and then it tells me you didn't vote in time.
Yeah, I'm in the same situation.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's continue with me then and solve this together. And finally, technology issues. Finally, we have choose or do not choose family meeting place. Okay, so the voting says choose. You always have to choose a meeting place. In case something happens, talk to your family to know where to meet. Good. Okay, so guys, we have this wrap up for Yes We Can Secondary 2, Unit 3. We have some issues with technology in the last exercise, but in case this happens, you can have verbally the feedback. And it was for Unit 3, knowing about emergencies, and the reader was Forces of Nature. And today we did some important major things. Number one was identified key vocabulary related to natural disasters. Then in 2, we implemented visual aids to support vocabulary acquisition through images and some videos that will help them to understand better the concepts. In number 3, we practice imperatives for emergencies. And finally, we exploited free online resources in order to keep high levels of engagement. So I only used 3 digital resources, which is the ones that they have already shared with you, the Yes We Can digital materials, canva.com, which is the one that I'm using right now for the presentation, and Mentimeter, which is the one for the surveys. Okay, so thank you very much. And now we're gonna move on to another creative activity with Grace. She's gonna show us how to exploit and how to use a poster in our classes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Oscar. It was a very nice way to approach the readers. As you can see, we can use it in different sections. And well, the last activity is a very short one that we can use with posters. Let me just share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to show you this short activity and how you can exploit posters to brainstorm ideas and to link these vocabulary or images on the posters with the activities in the student's book. So let's look at the different genres. This is for Yes We Can 2, the secondary, and unit 2, in which the whole topic of the unit is about genres. So can you see the images?
Yes.
Okay, so let's look at some questions here. Which is your favorite type of play or genre? Here we have Christmas play, historical plays, comedy, monologue, musical, horror, or tragedy. Which one is your favorite? Can you open your mics so I can listen to you?
My favorite or the student's favorite?
Well, let's pretend you're students now.
Okay.
Okay.
I would say Christmas play.
Christmas play. Okay. Yes. Anyone else?
I love monologues.
All right. Good. Someone else?
Comedy.
Comedy. And which ones do you find boring? Because it doesn't mean that we always need to like everything, but which ones do you find boring, or which ones you don't usually watch or read?
Tragedy plays, maybe.
Okay, tragedy. Yeah, sometimes they are too dramatic.
Oh, sorry. My least favorite would be musicals.
Musicals. You don't like musicals. All right,
No.
that's interesting because they are very popular, but sometimes many people find it boring. They prefer common dialogues, right? Okay, so let's look at some examples of these types of plays or movies. Can you give me some examples of a comedy, a monologue? Can you remember any movies, any plays in the theater? Or famous monologues? Christmas movies? No one? Or a comedy? Do you remember the last video we watched with Christina? That was comedy with, do you remember the name of the character?
Christmas movie.
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean. Or Christmas movie? Can anyone mention a Christmas movie or a play?
The Grinch?
Yes, although he doesn't like Christmas, but it's a Christmas movie, right? Now let's look at one more, some more genres we have mentioned, musical, horror, and tragedy. Can you mention some examples of these type? These are very famous. The musicals are very popular. Can you remember some of them? From Broadway, for
Mary
example.
Poppins.
Cats.
Mary Poppins, Cats, all right. Those are very popular.
Grace.
Okay. How about horror? Horror
Jigsaw.
movies or plays? Sorry?
Phantom of the Opera.
Okay, that's fine. Tragedies?
Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, that's a typical one, Romeo and Juliet. Okay, now let's look at some examples of texts related to these genres. Can somebody help me? Well, I'm going to read the first example, and here we have the script. It's narrator. Long ago in the forest, there were 3 beautiful fir trees. These 3 fir trees hoped that someday they would be Christmas trees. They were very patient, and each day they grew and grew. Children tune of I'm a little teapot. So that means that some children are going to sing. I'm a little fir tree growing tall. Someday I'll be the best of all. I'll go home with a family, and a Christmas tree is what I'll be. So what genre is this text about?
Musical.
It can be a musical, and we can also place it in another category. Can you help me?
Christmas?
Exactly, Christmas. Thank you. Who would like to help me read the second example, please?
I can.
Okay, please.
Example 2. Haiti, 1791, on the brink of revolution, when the slave Abigail is forced from her children to take her mistress to safety, she discovers New Orleans has its own powers.
Okay, thank you. What genre is this?
History?
Yes, it's from a historical play. Okay, thank you. And the last one, who can help us read this?
I can do it.
Okay.
Example 3. Good night, parting in such sweet sorrow, that I shall say good night till it be tomorrow.
Okay, this is a very typical one. And do you know the genre it belongs to? This is a
musical.
It could be, well, this is a dialogue from Romeo and Juliet, and that's a tragedy, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so by Shakespeare. Now let's play a very quick game about genres. For this activity, I'd like you to look at Quizlet.life on your mobile phones or computer. I'm going to stop sharing this image. Have you copied that? Quizlet.life. And I'm going to share another screen. Let me just find it. Wait. There we are. Can you see this screen?
It's asking me for a code.
Yes.
Yes, now I'm going to show you a code.
Okay.
This is the code. You can enter Quizlet.live or scan the QR code. So I'm going to be showing here the participants. So please enter the code so that we can see your names here. We have Fer, Laura, Oscar. Okay. I'm going to participate too. Okay, we have more people there, right? As you can see with this app, while you are waiting for the game to start, you can study while you are waiting. So this is what we are going to be playing with. So you can read a definition and read the genre, okay? I think we can begin now. You need to answer the questions quickly because the winner will be the first to finish. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
¿Qué pasó? Estoy trabajando.
Okay. You can see that the winner was Liz. And then second place, we have Pandas and Zebras. This app gives you a different name. Okay. And here at the end, you can check what you learned. You can have a revision of the vocabulary or the definitions we studied along this very short activity. All right. And you can use this app to present language and to review. I'd like to show you that you enter all the information here. You plan and you put your text there, and you can use this in many ways as an activity to do with the class. You can also choose learn, and then you read the definition and you choose the correct option, etc. But the one we did today was the live game. So you enter exactly the same information and you can have a wide variety of activities. So that saves a lot of time. And this is a way in which you can connect the posters of Yes We Can with extra activities, digital activities, all right? So let me just end with one more slide. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's just recap this part of the session. We looked at some vocabulary about genres. We looked at some sample text, like the dialogues we read. We practiced vocabulary through a game with definitions, and we looked at some alternatives to use Yes We Can posters and Yes We Can readers with some digital tools. So we'd like to thank you very much for your participation, for your time. And we wanted to show you some creative ideas you can use with your students along with the series of Yes We Can. If you don't know the series, I'm sure you will enjoy it when you use it. And Christina, Oscar, thank you very much for sharing your activities with us. And I don't know if you have, or the audience have any questions that we could answer now. You can write your questions. Here, Oscar is sharing a file.
Yeah, with the digital resources that they can use.
Mm-hmm. And previously, Christina was also sharing something, right? Somebody was asking at the beginning of the session if we could share the link to the video of Mr. Bean. I don't know if Christina, could you share the link with the video?
Sure. Yes. I'm
I have a question.
Yes.
Now, are these resources that you guys share with us, are they free? Can we use them at any time?
Yes, these are free apps that allow you to do different things. Some of them have other uses, but sometimes you have to pay extra. But the ones we showed you today are for free.
Excellent, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that means that the presentation app, which was Canva, obviously, well, Christina used PowerPoint, but you can use Canva, Genially is another one. And this one, Quizlet.com, Quizlet is the one I showed you. That's also free.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
There, Christina is sharing her email. And then the link to the video. I don't know if there are any other questions we could answer. Okay, well, thank you again for being here. I think we are going to wait until the PDF that Oscar sent has been uploaded. And well, thank you again. This was our last session with Yes We Can. Please enter the link we previously shared to get to know the materials. Remember, we have student's book, teacher's guide. There's a CD with the tracks for listening and the posters and the readers too. The readers have several comprehension activities, and the teacher's guide, as you may know, links all the components together so that you can teach and you can use creative ideas in your classrooms. Thank you very much, everyone. I think this is the end of the session. And I hope the ideas we shared today were useful for your classes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.